Our founders ask us, how should we approach investors? What should I do in terms of pricing strategy? How should I go to market with this product? What does it mean to really analyze the competitive landscape of my company? All from how does an investor looks at it? And that's really the biggest thing, because founders, they may go pitch a lot, right? And typically what they hear back is great job. I appreciate it. We'll get back to you. That's the normal response. And so the founders left with this sense of, wow, I did really good, but they don't hear back. And they're always wondering why they don't hear back. So one of the things we do in our program, we actually share what the investors are actually thinking. I look at every founder and every startup, and when I'm speaking to them in the office hours that we have, as if I'm a potential investor. And I actually share with them the thoughts that would come to me as if I was evaluating them for a potential investment. And for example, founders show me a pitch, and I ask them, so what was the result? And they go, well, I pitched this on stage. I'm like, amazing. How did it go? They're like, everybody clapped for me. I'm like, fantastic. So what was the results? Well, everybody loved it. Everybody told me I did a fantastic job. Fantastic. So what were the results? After a few times, they realized I'm asking the same question over again. And they said, well, what do you mean? I'm like, what came afterwards? You're like, well, nothing's happened. I haven't heard anything back. I'm like, So what you're hearing is everybody appreciating that you took the time to come and pitch, but it didn't resonate enough for anyone to want to speak with you further, to really dive into your company, to really learn about you, your team, what the problem you're solving, the product you bring into market, so the conversation isn't continuing forward. Most investors, and myself included, I got to catch myself once in a while. If I'm out and about and someone pitches to me, typically the response is, thank you, I appreciate it. I'll get back to you if there's an interest. And the reason for that is if you do say anything that you may be thinking, unless it's super positive and it's like, yeah, let's go have a meeting, the founder typically gets very defensive, right? And wants to justify, and rightly so, they want to justify what it is they're building. And then they'll come back, well, no, this is actually, you misunderstood. This is what we're doing. And then what the investor finds himself in this little back and forth that they don't want to be a part of. So that's why most of the times you don't hear the raw feedback. I mean, unless an investor is sitting on a panel for feedback, and we do that, by the way. We have those sessions where I bring in investors into what we call practice pitch sessions, and they listen to a pitch and they provide raw feedback, and so founders are able to hear it, not just from us, but also others. But typically that does not happen. So typically it's, very pointed questions if they're sitting on the panel, and that's about it. So there's no judgment, but if you want to really hear, a thought of what investors see or hear when you're speaking, this is what's happening. And it's quite eye-opening for many of them. Our founders ask us, how should we approach investors? What should I do in terms of pricing strategy? How should I go to market with this product? What does it mean to really analyze the competitive landscape of my company? All from how does an investor